Hi, in this lesson we're going to be going over 4.6, dividing fractions and whole numbers. We're going to start by using models to divide a fraction by a whole number. Our first example says Maura cuts a rectangular piece of clay in half. She then divides 1/2 into 3 equal parts. What fraction of the whole piece of clay is each of the 3 parts? We're going to break apart the information that's given in the problem. It tells us that Maura cuts a rectangular piece of clay in half. So we're going to draw our rectangle to represent our model. And it says that she cuts it in half, so I'm going to split it into 2 equal pieces. And then I'm going to shade that 1/2 just to help us visualize. I'm going to label it as 1/2 as well. And then she divides 1/2 into 3 equal parts. So I'm going to draw another model just below it. And since she divides the half into 3 equal parts, I'm going to divide that one into 3 equal parts as well. And we want to make sure that our whole is split into equal parts as well. So the other half we're going to split into 3 equal parts as well. Now our problem asks us what fraction of the whole piece of clay is each of the 3 parts. Now remember, our half we split into 3 equal parts. So I'm going to shade in what one of those pieces would be. So when we shade in one piece, our numerator is 1, and then we split our whole piece of clay into 6 equal parts, so 6 becomes our denominator. So each of the pieces of clay is equal to 1/6 of the whole piece of clay. For this next example, we're going to be taking a fraction and dividing it by a whole number. In order to be able to do that, we're going to have to use something called a reciprocal. Now, a reciprocal is like flipping the number. So for example, if we had a fraction that was 1/3, the reciprocal of 1/3 would be equal to 3/1. So the 1 goes down to be the denominator and the 3 goes up to be the numerator. So looking back at our problem, when we are dividing a fraction by a whole number, what we're really going to be doing is multiplying the fraction by the reciprocal. To help us remember the steps, we're going to think of KFC. The K stands for keeping the first number the same. So we're not going to do anything to 3/5. We're going to keep it just as it is. The F stands for flipping the second number. So in this case, we're going to be flipping the 6 because that's the second number. So when we flip the 6, when we're finding the reciprocal of the 6, remember a whole number written as a fraction would be the whole number over 1, and so when we go and flip it, it becomes 1/6. So we kept 3/5 the same, we flipped the 6, and then the C stands for changing the operation. So we're going to be changing the division symbol into the multiplication symbol. Now remember, multiplication is the inverse operation of division. Now we're ready to multiply. So we can check our diagonals to see if we can simplify. Look at 3 and 6. We can divide both of those by 3. So the 3 becomes a 1 and the 6 becomes a 2. Then we go ahead and multiply straight across. 1 times 1 equals 1. 5 times 2 equals 10. So 3/5 divided by 6 is equal to 1/10. For this next example, we're going to look at how to divide a whole number by a fraction, the opposite of the previous two examples. We're going to start by looking at how we can use a model to help us divide. Because we start with a whole number, we're going to draw 4 rectangles to represent our 4 wholes. Now, since we're dividing by 1/3, we're going to be splitting each of our wholes into 3 equal pieces. Our problem is 4 divided by 1/3. So basically what we're trying to find is how many 1/3 pieces will fit into 4 wholes. So in order to find our answer, all we need to do is count up how many 1/3 pieces we created in our model. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 4 divided by 1/3 is equal to 12. Whenever you're taking a whole number and dividing it by a fraction, your number is going to get larger. For our last example, we're going to take a whole number and divide it by a fraction by using the reciprocal method. Now remember, when we use the reciprocal method, we're going to think of KFC. Now remember, when we have a whole number, our denominator is going to be 1, so 3 becomes 3 over 1. In KFC, the K stands for keeping the first number the same, so we're going to keep 3 over 1 the same. The F stands for flipping the second number, so we're going to flip 1/5 and change it into 5 over 1. And then the C is changing the operation. So we're going to change the division symbol into a multiplication symbol. And now we're ready to multiply. 3 times 5 equals 15, and 1 times 1 equals 1, so our answer is equal to 15.